Each region in Pokemon is shaped by myths and nature. In Kalos, life and death themselves are bound to the legendary Pokemon, Xerneas and Yveltal, while Zygarde watches silently in his Terminus cave, ensuring the balance is never broken. Far to the south, in the Isles of Alola, 4 guardian deities are awakened to protect their people and preserve the land's sacred harmony. Today, we'll be speculating how good the Pokemon X, Y, and Z legendary Pokemon would be in competitive, as well as the guardian deities and how to fix these Pokemon. I'm doing this because I want to create a competitive format where all fully evolved Pokemon are balanced but maintain their unique identity. We will first take a look at the Pokemon that dominated the Pokemon X and Y VGC meta, Xerneas. Xerneas was one of the top Pokemon when this Pokemon was legal, and I don't really see why this won't happen again for 2 reasons. There are better, newer supportive Pokemon that can help Xerneas, like Yveltal with the Friend Guard ability, Hospitality, Rage Powder, Life Dew, Sinistra, and Farigiraf to block priority moves like Fake Out from Rillaboom and Incineroar. There are a lot more Dark-type Pokemon that are used now than ever. Urshifu Single Strike, Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, the Ruination Trio. Xerneas was one of the top Pokemon in the format because of having one of the most broken signature moves in the game, Geomancy. Geomancy is a move that charges up for a turn, then gives Xerneas a +2 boost in special attack, speed, and special defense. All of the stats that Xerneas really wants. This 2-turn charge move can be turned into 1 turn if Xerneas holds the Power Herb item too. I think Xerneas' move Geomancy is one of those moves that can change a whole meta and needs to be checked on all teams during the team building process. With the introduction of Xerneas in competitive, we could see Psych Up usage go up on Pokemon like Calyrex Shadow Rider, potential Co-Star usage, and a lot more moves like Taunt, Haze, Clear Smog that will be brought into the game. I also think that Terra on Xerneas is really strong too, because Xerneas will naturally bring up the Steel and Poison type moves and Pokemon up, and Xerneas itself might Terra into like Steel to resist both typing. While giving a lot of praise to Xerneas, I don't think I need to change this Pokemon's stats, type, or ability, but I'm going to give this Pokemon some more coverage that fits with the theme of Xerneas, so I'm going to give Xerneas Giga Drain, Psychic, Energy Ball, and Aromatherapy. We just looked at life, now let's look at the opposite in the Destruction Pokemon Yveltal. Yveltal wasn't even a fraction as good as Xerneas was in the main VGC due to its typing, and its signature move not being as broken as Xerneas'. If Yveltal gets a reintroduction in Scarlet and Violet, I honestly still don't see much usage of this Pokemon. Because Xerneas fits the destructive power description on the battlefield, we will give Yveltal a more supporting role, fitting Xerneas' description. Yveltal already gets good utility moves in Snarl, Tailwind, Taunt, and even its ability Dark Aura, which boosts Dark type moves. We will give Yveltal Parting Shot, Feather Dance, Helping Hand, Mirror Move, Thunder Wave, Fake Tears, and Torment. I added a bunch of moves, and honestly I can see the usage of Yveltal shooting up with the addition of these moves in Yveltal's arsenal. Now let's look at stats. I think Yveltal has too much an attack stat for a Pokemon that hits specially, so I will make a really small adjustment and remove 10 base attack and give 5 defense, 2 special defense, and 3 speed. The supposed 3rd game in the series we never got, but now we got in the big 2025, Zygarde. Let's look at its typing. It's actually a pretty good typing aside from the 4 times weakness, and I think Iron Bundle may come back into the meta to hard counter this Pokemon thanks to Booster Energy plus Ice type move and having a ridiculous 136 base speed. With that being said, let's take a look at Zygarde's stats. If we want to look at his stats, we have to change both the complete form and the 50% form. In Zygarde's 50% form, his stats seem pretty weak with a low attack and unexpectedly high special attack, so we will remove 30 special attack and give Zygarde 10 speed and 20 attack. While in his complete form, we will do something similar, but because of its insane HP at 255, we will instead remove 20 special attack and redistribute it into speed and attack even. Looking at Zygarde's signature moves, it has 90 base power but hits both Pokemon. 90 base power in this day and age seems pretty weak because when we look at Astral Bars and Glacial Lands, which are 120 base power moves, 100% accurate, no drawback moves that hit both Pokemon. Since I gave these moves a drawback in my previous video, they are actually 110 base power and 95% accurate in my hypothetical Pokemon world. I will then raise the base power of both 1000 Arrows and 1000 Waves by 10, and giving it no drawback. Generally, 100 base power is the maximum base power for no drawback moves. Going from X and Y to Sun and Moon, let's take a look at the guardian deities of Alola, Tapu Koko, Lele, Bulu, and Feeny. Before we get into anything, the first implementation I will make is to give both Tapu Koko and Bulu Play Rough. To be honest, I don't really know why these Pokemon don't get Play Rough and Tapu, Feeny, and Lele do. I would speculate that Game Freak thought that giving play rough to these physical attackers would make them beyond overpowered. The introduction of the Guardian Deities in the Generation 9 meta mean that there's gonna be Surge Wars, and other Surge users like Rillaboom and Indeedee users will probably decrease. But I don't think that these Pokemon would completely be eliminated in the meta, because when we introduce the Guardian Deities Pokemon, each Surge Pokemon will have their own unique niche. Indeedee having a supporting role for Psychic Surge, whereas Lele will have a more offensive role for a Psychic Surge user. Feeny will be the only Misty Surge Pokemon. Tapu Koko is a fast physical sweeper just like Miraidon, and Rillaboom is whereas Tapu Bulu is a lot more aggressive. If the Guardian Deities were introduced in the current Scarlet and Violet meta, I think that Tapu Koko, Lele, and Feeny would all be really good usage and be top 30 Pokemon used in the VGC format. So therefore, I won't change anything about these three, because if I do buff them in any way, I think these Pokemon would get a little too broken. Now let's look at the Guardian Deity that gets left out, Tapu Bulu. I think in the current meta, Tapu Bulu would be the only Guardian Deity that would struggle. Even in Sun and Moon, the usage between Tapu Koko, Lele, and Feeny were very high, whereas Bulu was non-existent. Tapu Bulu definitely gets the short end of the stick, being 4 times weak to poison, having the worst typing out of any Guardian Deity, and having very middling speed. With that being said, I don't think I can change its type, and any other type combination aside from Grass Fairy does not make sense. We will instead change Tapu Bulu's worst quality, its middling speed. I will remove 35 special attack and move 25 into speed and 10 into HP, making this Pokemon a lot more bulkier and faster. And that is it for all restricted legendary Pokemon and Guardian Deities. Let me know how I did in the comment section down below, and let me know how you would balance these Pokemon. In next week's video, we'll look at how to balance the top 10 Pokemon in the game by usage. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like for the algorithm and comment down below, because I'll be uploading these every Wednesday 11 AM EST, so stick around.